Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hawks Experience podcast. I am your host, Ian Victor, and I want to talk about this topic today. Let's hopefully that I don't make this video too long, but I might. So I want to talk about this topic today, which is the offensive line. Why the Seahawks will improve the offensive line this offseason. The reason why I say that the Seahawks will improve the offensive line because it has been a revolving disaster. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's been a complete disaster. It's been a disaster since I say the end of our second Super Bowl run. I mean, first two Super Bowl runs, it's been decent. But I say when that Max Unger trade for Jimmy Graham happened, I think that was the beginning of the offensive line, especially the interior part of the offensive line, started to just go downhill. And it has been a revolving door. And not only that, it has been an utter dumpster fire. And I think this past season, I think it had ran its course when it came to these 1 year old veterans, cheap. It just got to a point you have to do something about this. And I think John Schneider will do it because I think he is under a lot of pressure from the fan base and maybe from ownership. We nobody knows what ownership thinks, but we did know from ownership that they weren't interested in a teardown and they wanted to continue on the culture and they wanted it to keep winning. I think this offseason they're going to improve the offensive line, especially through free agency and through the draft. Because if you want to make Mike McDonald's vision of a style nobody wants to play against, which I like, I like the mojo. I like the mojo. I like the mojo. But I just think this past season, I didn't think that came into fruition. Is because the free agents that had came along, especially for the offensive line, wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough. So I look at this offseason as I believe, and from throughout the shows that I've seen on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, on the John Schneider episode, I think I think that they are going to improve the offensive line. I think they're going to spend decent money on the offensive line. So when I do look at this free agency, you got Trey Smith, you got Drew Dahlman, you got Mekhi Becton, you got James Daniels, you got Will Fries, you got Ryan Kelly. Like, if you could just sign one of them, my top one will be Trey Smith. But I know that's gonna have to cost you a lot of money. Not only that, you're probably gonna have to reset the guard market with him. If you want to bring a guy in like Drew Dahlman, you probably gonna have to bring him in on like a 4 year, 50, probably 60, 70 million. If you want to take a person like Mekhi Becton, you could probably give him like a 3, 4 year, 30, $40 million deal because he was a first round pick with the Jets and it did not work out in New York. So he comes to Philly, Jeff Stoutland puts him in at guard, and he excelled over there. So he's earned himself a big payday. You got Ryan Kelly, who's in Indianapolis. He's 34. I think his time at Indy has probably ran its course. And if you want to bring him in for like a stopgap for the next center. Like if you want to do that Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens thing, I'll be on board. But when I do look at this draft, you got Tyler Booker, you got Armand Membu, you got Jake Majors, you got Donovan Jackson. I say for like the first three picks, I think they're going to take an offensive line. They did it with Christian Haynes last year. And I'm going to say this. The scheme last year with Ryan Grubb did not fit Christian Haynes at all. It just didn't. Because I think it was just a mishmash of everything. I didn't think that the coaching was aligned. I didn't think the scheme was aligned. I think most of the time throughout the second half of the season, they were running more of a gap scheme, more so a zone blocking scheme with Christian Haynes. When Christian Haynes came out, Christian Haynes had an 89 zone blocking grade. No wonder why when Kubiak was hired, Christian Haynes was very, very excited. Let me add you a tipping point. When Cliff Kubiak was hired, and shout out to Griff Sturgeon, he was on Hawk Blogger earlier. I think it was yesterday or so. I think he said that one of the UConn staffers said that most of the staff over there was very, very happy that Cliff Kubiak was hired and John Benton was the old line coach, and they were very, very excited. I think this is going to be the scheme that Christian Haynes is going to excel in because of the zone scheme that Kubiak wants to run on the offense. So I gave you guys a breakdown on why they will improve the offensive line. I think John Schneider is pretty much under pressure from not only the fan base but also ownership. Let me tell you. Let me say this. I think the players know it. I think the players deep down they know that the O line is the biggest weakness on the team. I know they're not going to come out and say it because they don't want to throw their teammates under the bus, but I think they know deep down inside this O line is what's holding the team back. I know it, the fans know it, and I think the organization know it. And I bet you Coach Mike McDonald is even telling John Schneider, like, hey, this offensive line is what's holding us back. And we got to do something about this year. Hell, you even got a Gray Zabel in the draft. I mean, hey, you could plug him into this zone blocking scheme because, hey, he's one of the best ones in the draft when it comes to zone blocking grade. And I know everybody loves Tyler Booker and all that, and I like him too, with the leadership and all that. But one thing that I do have a question is his zone blocking because he wasn't really, really good with the zone blocking, but in more of a gap scheme, he was pretty good. So I do have questions there. All right, I'm going to end this video here. This is the reason why the Seahawks will improve the offensive line this offseason. And it's time. It's time to get this O-line together. Last year, it was the defense that was getting fixed, especially the defensive line that was getting fixed last year. This year, this is where the offense is going to get fixed, especially the offensive line. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Hey, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it is ENK Victor __. And if you want to add me as a friend on Facebook, it's Ian Victor. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Click the sub button. I would love to, interact with you guys. And I'm going to be paying attention to this combine, especially on all positions, and especially the offensive line. the linebackers as well. I'm gonna give you guys my mock draft that I just did like not too long ago, and I'll make a video about that. So next time, I'm signing out. Peace.